already. So folks, we're going to try this just for the benefit of the Facebook viewers. We are going to try and stream both on Facebook and YouTube. If it doesn't work, then we'll stop. We don't want to interrupt each other and ruin the sighting, but we are going to try for now. And maybe you can report back if you see the quality on one is better than the other, or vice versa.
Sean asking how far along are the females that were mating. So 2 days ago we saw this pride and 2 of the females were mating, so they're not far along at all. We're not sure about the others, but I wouldn't imagine. Some of these cubs are still quite young, so their mothers wouldn't be mating yet. They're still dependent on them.
Alright, we are live.
Okay. Lionesses will often only mate again after their cubs have reached at least 2 years of age.
So just keep it to the right frame.
Jennifer, there are no vultures here yet, but that's probably because these lions killed this buffalo last night or in the early hours of the morning. But once it's starting to warm up a bit now, so the vultures will start getting active and using the thermals to soar. This buffalo is out in the open, so it's quite an open field here, so they will probably see it, and there's a perfect perch for them right above the kill.
Alright folks, so welcome to everyone on the YouTube side. So we're trying something a little different. We're going to be streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Morning everyone. We are with the Nkuhuma Pride at the moment. We just focused on the lions eating the buffalo that they caught either late last night or perhaps even early this morning. We'll stick with the lions eating the buffalo for now, but the males are just out of screen to the left, or one is, the other one's just lying in some very long grass. But what we're going to try to do is answer the questions on the YouTube stream and on the Facebook stream at the same time. Hopefully it works and we can answer everyone's questions. If it doesn't, we will reevaluate and see how it goes. But just let me know if the camera is set up alright. Now sometimes the comments and the subtitles are blocking the screen, so just let us know if the YouTube feed is coming through alright. And hello to Ninja Boy.
Liz from Kent in the UK, good morning. Glad you're enjoying the live stream and hope the manners around your breakfast table at home are better than these lions' table manners.
There we go. Sure. Sorry folks, on my phone for whatever reason wasn't doing the chats, but yeah, so just catching up with everyone. So greetings from Santon, Linda from California, welcome back. Sally S, much better. Giraffe Girl, welcome back. There's a lot of people here that we see often on our YouTube channel. And yes, it is a buffalo that they're eating. It is quite funny, the cubs seem to be able to fit right into the carcass. One walked all the way through. Question from Noah Graves, are the lions eating a cow or a bull? It looks like a bull from here. We don't see many herds of buffalo in this part of the reserve anyway, so it is only the bulls around. And Ishta, wow, how many days are their stomachs full? So they should be full for the next 3 or 4 days. Folks, and also these lions, they are busy squabbling from time to time over the quill, so we might stop halfway through just to let you listen to the growls. And then Percy Johnson, so we know these lions as the Nkuhuma pride, and the males that are with them. So there's some of those growls I was talking about. The males that are with them. So it sounds like the lionesses don't want me to tell you who they are. The males that are with him are the Avoca males, the northern Avoca males to be specific.
Sally S asking how far away the Gari males and Kambula pride are from the Nkuhuma pride and the Avoca males. We are not sure at this stage. We're not sure where the Kambula pride are right now.
And John Tibosis, boom boom Afridi to you.
My app just cut out again.
Then 9 asking, is the buffalo dead or somewhat alive? This one is certainly dead.
Yeah. Any movement you see inside of that buffalo is actually the cubs crawling around inside of it. Can we get close or zoom in? So GD, we are filming off of a cell phone, so we actually can't really get too much closer or zoom in too much closer without it being all pixelated. And one of the male lions is also lying in a bit of an awkward spot, and this is about as close as we drive to these animals anyway. Any closer and we'll upset them and disturb their behavior, which is the last thing we want to do. Hoda Harris asking, what would we consider the most what would be considered the most prized part of the catch? So the internal organs are actually the most important part for them to eat. So all the lungs and liver and kidney and all that. One of the odd things with cats is they can't make any of their own vitamins. So like we make vitamin D, or your body makes it for you by being in the sun. And we eat lots of vegetables, or hopefully, so that you get all your vitamins. The lions can only get those vitamins from the internal organs. So if they were eating, say, beef fillet every day, they'd actually slowly get the lion equivalent of scurvy. So it is very important that they eat all of the organs, and generally the male lions do get in there first, so they get the bulk of those best bits. But also not so much with this pride, but with some of the lion prides. I don't know how long they're going to have a kill, because they might get chased off by hyenas or whatever. So eating lungs and livers and kidneys, if you think about what those organs look like, they're very soft things. You can eat them very quickly and bolt them down. You're not having to rip the meat off the flesh, which you can see these lions are doing now. Getting that meat off the bone is quite tough. So it's a hard thing to eat, where something like a kidney, it's not attached to any bone or anything else. You can just open up the carcass and wolf it down. So it's easy to eat, but also very important that they do eat it. So, and Lord Karen, I see you're asking how many members are in the pride. So I think, how many was it, Pete? 8 lionesses?
And 9 cubs.
8 lionesses, 9 cubs, and they're with the 3 Avoca males, or we've seen 2 of the males. I don't know where the third one is, or if he is here.
And then just from the Facebook feed, Nathaniel's asking, at what age do the cubs start eating meat?
So typically they can start as early as 8 months. 8 weeks. Typically around 3 months old though. But the earliest I've seen is 8 weeks.
But yeah, just with the eating meat, so it's one of the factors is just how close the kill happens to be to where the little cubs are being kept in their dens. They can't really travel too far from their dens because they've got quite little legs at that point. And also just safety wise, lionesses don't bring kills back to the dens usually. It very, very rarely happens, but more often than not they'll bring their cubs to a kill like this. So all the adults have kind of had a good feed, a bit more relaxed and that's often the introduction of the cubs to the pride.
So as I hear Shah asking what they've hunted here, so they're busy feeding off of a buffalo bull. It's a Cape buffalo bull, which they probably killed last night sometime. Audrey asking if this is one pride. Yes, I'm not sure if all of them are here. The grass all around us is quite long, as you can see, but there are some lying in the bushes over there and a couple lying in front of us. But when all the lions are here, there are, Mike said earlier, 8 lionesses, 9 cubs, and there's a coalition of 3 males which is dominant over them. Fiona Allen asking what's the eating order for lions. They eat in a hierarchy. So people often, it's quite common for people to say that male lions, don't do any hunting, and when the females do kill something, they run in and chase them all off and eat their full. Although that is often true, it's also the females afterwards don't all sit neatly around the dinner table and share politely. They are also get caught up in the feeding frenzy, so it's not necessarily male or female, but rather the strongest lions will get. Oops, so there's one lioness contact calling over there.
There's a little cub there with there.
Alright folks, so just on the YouTube feed, it's a couple folks asking where are we. So we're at MalaMala Game Reserve. If you were to look on Google Maps, just Google MalaMala, from MalaMala Camp or the airstrip, you will see we are north and east by about 1 kilometer. And we, if you can see, there's a rocky outcrop north and east of the camp. We're just to the north of that rocky outcrop. A couple of questions asking, good morning Petro. So a couple of questions asking, are we safe from the lions here? So I would say yes, the lions definitely got something to eat. They've all grown up with us around. If they were unhappy with our presence, they would definitely make it very clear and start growling and thrashing their tails and whatnot at us. If they were getting upset, they don't just attack for no reason.
Folks, and we did stumble, or we didn't stumble across this. I got called in early about an hour ago, and we haven't had the opportunity to send notifications out all that much. I know Nadav has been probably trying to do that now. So if you have the opportunity and you want to share this with anyone, please feel free to take a screenshot and just share it with people you think might be interested in the sighting.
How many lion prides are at MalaMala, asks Reza, asks. So we're actually trying to count it the other day, but there's at least sort of 10 groups of lions that we do see if you count all the prides and the male coalitions. But yeah, so there's this Nkuhuma pride that we're watching now in this area. We also sometimes see the Torchwood pride, which is split into 2 groups. Obviously the Avoca males are here with us now. Then a bit south of here is the Kambula pride. We have the bulk of MalaMala's territory. We saw the Four Ways pride a few days ago. There's the Sand River pride more to the south. the Ifield Pride, obviously the Gowrie males and the Southern Avoca males. So there's quite a number of prides, and we see as many as 60 individuals, I think 64 in the area. Did I miss any other lions out? Oh, of course, the Martley Pride.
And we see Styx Pride from time to time. He's also got a long history here.
The Styx Pride.
That's how many prides we forget.
Yeah, sorry folks, I kind of ran out of fingers to count all the lion prides off there.
So is that why we stick to 10, Mike?
Yeah. 10 is a good answer. A couple of folks asking where to spot this kill anytime now as it heats up and they use the thermals to fly around and look for food. So here's one of the younger cubs moving in as well. And the hyenas, I think the hyenas are probably well aware of this kill, but they're not going to dare come here with so many lions. There's the 8 lionesses with all their cubs, and on top of that there's the 2 male lions here. So maybe we might see some hyenas lurking way in the distance, but they're going to be very careful of the male lions here. And Six and Stone's asking, have the Gowrie and Kambula and the Avokas and Nkuhuma Pride had an interaction? So no, they haven't.
Not that we've seen.
Yeah, not that we've seen. But if you go into MalaMala's YouTube channel, you'll see we put a video up the other day of when we were following the Kambula Pride. And we found them as well. Well, we found where they had obviously come into MalaMala. The Kambula Pride must have been aware of it, moved into that area, and they... So mom's getting grumpy with her cub there.
Just hi to Reinhard Riem. Welcome. It's my brother-in-law's brother. It's good to see you watching us and glad that you can join us.
And hi to Dylan. But yeah, sorry, to finish that, if you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see where we talk about the closest they've had the interaction, where the Nkuhuma Pride seemed to have been driven off by the Kambula Pride without any fighting. And I'm sure that's mainly because of these little cubs. They're about half the age of the Kambula Pride.
The youngest is almost 5 months old, and yeah, that youngest cub. Peace Markin, morning. Asking how often do they eat, and do they eat every day or maybe once a week? Peace, a lot depends on what they kill. So as a kind of rule of thumb, or generally speaking, whenever we get asked that question, the kind of standard response is they'll kill something every 3 to 4 days. But a lot depends on the area where they're in, what the predominant food source is, how big the pride is. So there are very close on 15, not sure if all the lions are here. It's probably say about 15 lions feeding off a buffalo, which they killed last night. They will probably finish this in about 24 hours. And then they won't have to eat for, or they probably won't hunt again for a couple of days. But if they kill
Alright folks, so I think welcome back,
they would eat
hopefully.
in about a minute, and then they'd start hunting again.
But if we experience any more trouble on our YouTube phone, my phone is just overheated a bit, then feel free to switch over to Facebook. Peter's currently doing the live stream on Facebook on his phone.
I believe all the cool kids are watching on Facebook.
Is it?
We might have to get an umbrella for your phone.
Yeah,
no, Alan, yes, definitely no table manners here.
Alright
But
folks, I'm just going to switch the camera a little bit around to the male. You can see he's just woken up there. And we'll try zooming in without flipping the phone around.
Marika asking if there are any signs of TB in this pride. Not in this pride. So one of the things you would look for signs of TB are swollen areas, especially around the joints.
Alright, sorry folks, seems to be quite a delay.
Ashken Benham, Sinichok Seviorum. Folks, that's my wife who's watching. Get some action here, folks. See how the table manners change now that Dad's arrived for his second helping, presumably. And if anyone's wondering where the other male is,
It's still coming through.
Yeah.
Raymond Pierre asking if the lions hunt only on their territory. They would hunt mostly on their territory, but territories do overlap somewhat. And it's not unheard of for lions to hunt in others' territories, but it's not, obviously wouldn't be the best idea if they didn't have to. They could avoid it.
So can you just watch that while I try to get this?
Watching what?
Huh?
What am I watching?
Neil
Just that your
Stump
phone's
asking what's the
working.
biggest coalition of males we've seen on MalaMala. The biggest number I've seen is 5. I've never seen more than 5 together.
Is yours overheating now?
I don't know, it's just not getting signal.
So Ross, I hope I answered your question earlier about the cubs when I was responding to someone else. Bradley Thomas, good morning.
Alright
Bradley
folks,
Thomas
sorry
from
for you on YouTube, but we're just struggling a little bit with the signal at the moment. I'm hoping that the video feed is coming through, but we can't see any of the comments right now. And I'm just hopefully sorting it out. But yeah, the phones, I don't know if it's a signal issue or that it's quite hot here that the phones are struggling.
Murali asking how the male lion got that limp. Murali has had that limp for a few days, but it's quite common to see lions limping. The terrain that they live in and hunt in is uneven. There are lots of holes, there are lots of stumps. When they do kill something, you know, imagine bringing down like this buffalo that weighs you know, maybe anywhere up to 800 kilograms, probably around 600-700. This particular one.
Alright, so
There's a
folks,
lot
I
of danger
just got
if
our
the buffalo
comments
falls
back.
onto your leg. The bottom line, Murali, is it's probably not that serious, and he'll walk it off.
Alright, sorry folks, so I think the visual was coming through, we just couldn't see any of your comments, so if you've had any questions or anything, we'll maybe just repost them and then I'll try to get them as they come through. And yeah, my phone was not enjoying the signal here for a while. But yeah, for those of you that are just joining us, so this is the Unkuhuma Pride. And they've caught a buffalo bull sometime late last night, and the 2 male lions that are with them are the 2 Avoca males that we're in the northern parts of MalaMala Game Reserve, sort of north and east of our camp by about 2 kilometers. Chris Swanepoel asking, is it true that lions with pink noses are younger than 6? So as a general rule, I think that is accurate. I think it's actually younger than 7 if I remember correctly. But it's not always 100% guideline. It's a general rule of thumb.
Joe JJ Josfat's watching from Zambia. Joe, wabuga buti, murikawotu. I'm from Kalema, in the south of Zambia. My phone just died.
Lord Carring asking, what are your jobs, if you don't mind me asking? So our jobs are usually as rangers here at MalaMala, so we take guests out on game drives and that. Obviously now with the lockdown, we don't know when that will be lifted and international travel is allowed, or any travel for that matter. So what we have done is switch to rather than you coming here, we coming to you. So instead of having 6 guests on a vehicle, we now have upwards of 30,000 guests on a vehicle. But I think everyone is pretty happy with the situation.
See, there's a lot more people on YouTube now. Nadav, Pete's phone has just died. Maybe if you can put a message on Facebook just to let people know that we are still streaming on YouTube.
Taz Cole there, the sister of Brendan Cole, I'm sure. Welcome. But yeah, an average day for us, sorry to carry on answering that question, is we head out in the morning, see what cool stuff we can see. We either film it for MalaMala's YouTube channel, and you'll see we're doing a series, Rangers in Isolation. It was initially a 3-week series, but our president ordered a few more episodes and locked us down for another 2 weeks. And then he further extended our contract the other day for, we are unsure of how long. But yeah, it's worked out pretty well so far. And then, yeah, otherwise we're editing and trying to, if there is signal, look at that cub balancing on top of the... Just trying to find thinking out of the box there. If there is signal, and only about 10% of MalaMala is covered by cell phone signal, then we will try to live stream it. So normally we do it on YouTube in the evenings and Facebook in the morning. This morning though, we're trying to do both, which might be a good thing because the signals keep cutting out on one or the other phone. So we're staying in contact, just not that well. Giraffe Girl, are the Torchwood still in the northern part of the reserve? We think so. They were there yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. They were on the very northern parts of MalaMala. So I think that lioness might want to pull the carcass into the shade there, but that's exactly where the male lion is sleeping. We'll see how successful she is. But yeah, folks, we can't actually see all of the lions right now because a lot of them are just lying in the shade around here.
Starting to get warm
now. Dizzy says thanks to our president. Yes, we're also thanking him. So at least keeping us safe, I think, is the main goal. Riza asking, is there a scenario where we have to get involved? So almost never. The only time we'll interfere with the animals, or not interfere isn't the right word, perhaps help the animals, is if they're very endangered animals, like rhino or wild dogs perhaps. Otherwise, if the injury that they got is man-made, so somehow human-caused, if it's a natural injury occurred naturally and that, then there's there's not really too much we can do about it. But if, for example, we had found this buffalo with a broken leg and fixed up his broken leg after months of rehabilitation and whatnot, and trying to convince a buffalo to put a cast on and keep it there, we would have taken a meal away from, by saving one buffalo, we would have stolen a meal from this whole pride of lions, our hyenas that will probably arrive at some point, the vultures later on, the jackals, the dung beetles, so it's pretty hard on that individual animal, but it's the food for everything else. So save one and put 100 potentially others out.
And there's a few of you asking to see the male lion. There are two here, but it's currently not a great view of them.
Just going to move the camera over fractionally.
The one is in the right of screen, lying in the shade there. You can barely see him.
Yeah. So I'm going to try the whole finger in front. The male lion is just over there, but he's just fast asleep in the grass. So it's hard to see him unless he stands up. And a question, are there any vultures circling? No, not yet. So it's, like the phones keep cutting out because it is getting hot, and it's that hot air especially in these bigger open areas, the air here is going to heat up quicker than in the thickets. So the warmer air from the open areas will start moving up, and the vultures will soon start flying and using those thermals to look for food. So we will hopefully see them soon. Broseph asking, is this really live? Yes, it is indeed really live, though it keeps cutting out. And Brian D saying, nope, it's fake live. I'm not sure.
Some more charge and try going.
The bearded intellect reminding us of breakfast. We are quite hungry.
Oh. And Eric Zamuda listening to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. I think that would definitely be a suitable soundtrack.
Hey, Tubbs.
Oh, morning, Tubbs. We'll see you from sunny Zululand soon. Tubbs is one of our rangers and soon to be potentially the star of the show for our YouTube channel if you want to catch up on there. Arjuna, we should bring an umbrella for the phones and for us. The lions have stolen all the shade and they're in a relatively large open area, so there's not too much shade going spare. Earlier, one of the male lions was actually lying in the shade in the front of the vehicle, so we couldn't even see him properly.
Then Alan Fay, you've asked this question a few times. Okay, I see you just... So just asking about the, are we safe in the vehicle? We are. These lions have grown up around us driving around in vehicles. This particular pride hasn't grown up here on MalaMala, but the reserve that they've grown up on, they also drive around in vehicles like ours, and they are very tolerant of our presence.
Oh, they almost finished eating. Yeah, so I think they've eaten the best parts of the kill. All those internal organs that are quite important that they eat. And you can kind of see the hams or the back legs of the buffalo almost done. But now they're going to be eating sort of the neck and the shoulders is where I think the meat is left. But it's also only really at the moment accessible to the adults because that skin around their neck, you'll see every now and then this lioness closest to us picks up the skin. You can see just how thick it is. So for the cubs, they can't quite get into that thick skin around the neck and shoulders that helps protect the buffalo from other buffaloes' horns when they're fighting too. And I think RCUSR asking, what does it smell like? So fortunately it smells, well, I'm a carnivore myself, so it smells quite pleasant. It's all the nice fresh meat around. But it's not too different to a butcher shop smell. The kill is fairly fresh and it was quite cold last night, so it hasn't gone off or anything like that. So you can see one of the other lionesses arriving in the background there. I don't know if she's going to come and try get some seconds or thirds or fifths or eighths or whatever it is that she's onto now. But there might be a little bit of a squabble when she tries to make herself some space at the kill.
Alan Fay saying he's sure they'd like kangaroo. I'm sure they'd like kangaroo.
I think it would be quite funny to see a lion encounter a kangaroo for the first time. They wouldn't know what on earth this is a new escape tactic. I think a kangaroo is pretty fast as well. I don't know if a lion would be able to.
It's a hell of a big bush baby.
Do lions typically avoid humans, asks Welderman. So I'd say yes. Like in a situation like this, they're fine with us in the vehicles, and that I wouldn't for $1,000,000 get out of the vehicle anywhere near them. But if we were walking from far away towards them and they saw us, they'd start growling and telling us not to approach any closer. So here's some more of the lionesses and the balance of the cubs arriving also for another round.
For those of you guys looking for the male lions, there they are. They heard the cubs coming and just all of a sudden felt a little bit more hungry than they were a minute ago. See the males finally dragging this carcass into the shade.
There's quite a there's quite a big delay between when we're getting the comments versus what we're seeing here. Oh. Biscuit asking what is our YouTube channel called? So it's MalaMala. So just Google MalaMala, or on YouTube search MalaMala Game Reserve, and you'll see there's quite a number of videos on there from over the years, but we've been doing a series called Rangers in Isolation. And like I said, it was so popular, our president ordered another round of a 2-week extension on it. But yeah, you'll see there. And then what we do is, if we can't live stream for whatever reason, normally because there's just no signal, then we'll film an episode and you can kind of catch up on other encounters we've had with Nkuhuma Pride or Kambula Pride, perhaps even some of the leopards and other animals that we see here. One of the reasons we live stream with lions a lot is that they're just quite visible animals. Some of you were probably watching our live stream with the leopard the other day, and leopards are very good at becoming invisible animals. And then we have a live stream of a shady piece of grass until that leopard moves. So yeah, the lions are a lot easier to live stream, and also a lot more activity often with the lions. Should we move around a little bit?
Maybe whilst we're doing that.
So folks, so what we're going to do is just move around now that that male lion has dragged the kill out, and try to get you a better view. In the meantime, Gareth is going to be introducing Pieter and his funny hat to everyone.
So it's a bit like a mullet. Everybody wants one, but no one wants to wear it in public.
Gareth, I think if you turn that phone 180, you might find a similar...
So Pete's teasing me because I was the first to get one.
It's a disgusting hat, folks. This is a normal hat. This is how normal people wear hats.
But yeah, I must say I'm quite thankful for that mud flap at the back there. This hot sun beating down on us. I think I'm going to do the same as Pete.
Alright, so folks, so we're just moving around so we can get a better view now that the male lion has moved the carcass about. At the moment, and which is also why the males have chosen to pull this carcass into the... It's good.
Mike, do you want to set this up here quick?
Alright, so folks, we're just going to have to jiggle the camera around a little bit, or the phone, while I get it reclaimed.
And then Denise Mortlock just commenting, always a cool guy, Michael.
Obviously.
Just want to say that Denise Mortlock is Mike's mum.
Yes. My biggest fan. Put it next to Pete's toys there. Heidi Swiss asking, do we know where the third Avoca male is? So no, I know someone commented earlier that he was with the Talamati pride. We don't see that pride here, but they live quite far to the north of us. And Alan Fay, top speed of a kangaroo 71, top speed of a lion 80. I don't know, I feel like it's one of these international challenges that could go on. Also, you'll notice there's no kangaroos in Africa, so maybe this bet has taken place already. How do male lions form coalitions? Are they siblings? Asks Reza. So yes, they are siblings. If you look at this pride, I think there's 9 cubs here. So say 4 of those 9 are males. So those young brothers, when they leave the pride, normally at about 3-ish, and then they'll stick together, and partly that's to help them hunt if they catch something. If there's, say, the 4 brothers together, then they can defend their kills from hyenas a bit better. They can bring down bigger things like buffalo, which take a bit of muscling. And then eventually, if they survive, then they have a much better chance of competing with the resident males for kills. The young males, often when they leave their pride, they've been turfed out by the incoming male that's taken over their father's pride, and they're in, those new male lions' territory who will try and kill them, and when they leave that area, they're in someone else's territory that tries to kill them. So it's very difficult for young male lions. I think it's only 1 in 7 that survive that transition from cub to adulthood. Broza Farad asking, are there any vibration mines? I'm assuming you mean vibranium mines. And no, Wakanda is our best kept secret.
Then I just want to see something here quickly. Grant, where is it? Grant Banwell, just asking again. Sorry, Grant, these comments do come through quite quickly, and we will try and get around to answering some of them. Asking, is MalaMala fenced? To answer that question, no, it's not. We are wedged between the Sabi Sands Game Reserve and the Kruger National Park, and there is not a single fence on any of our boundaries. So one of the camps has a low fence, but the other 2 camps don't have fences. And if you have a look on our Instagram page, you'll see some of the animals that walk into camp. I think the most recent one that we've seen was the Inkoveni female leopard that Mike saw walking straight through the front gate of camp the other day.
Yeah, just to add to that, if you go onto MalaMala's YouTube channel, one of our recent videos, we actually put up a map of that Great Limpopo Park that us, the Sabi Sands, Manyeleti, Klaseri, the Kruger National Park, the Limpopo Park, and Timbavati, all of up into Hwangi Game Reserve, Ghana Reserve in Zimbabwe. So you've got an idea of the scale of the reserve, but you can put Belgium inside of this protected area.
Then King Snow asking, have we seen any male coalitions coming in from Kruger? King Snow, again, if you go to our MalaMala Game Reserve's YouTube channel, there's an episode there on the 4 Ways Pride, and those are 2 males that we have not seen before.
So folks, we're just trying to catch up with the comments all come through in bunches. Lincoln 1800, no, definitely not, to your question. Do you ever come across poachers? So no, we don't really come across them. Unfortunately, poachers are a reality all over Africa. What I am planning to do is actually, for our channel anyway, putting together a little video of our anti-poaching team to give everyone an idea of what it is that they actually do. Obviously we have to be quite sensible for security reasons on how we do it, But yeah, that'll be probably coming out in the next week or so. And then but yes, MalaMala has a very active and fortunately a very large anti-poaching team. So we haven't had any incidents for quite some time now.
Cameron Ings, nice to see you on the feed. Cameron was also a ranger at MalaMala. He's currently at home.
In inverted commas.
Yeah. Streets of Los Angeles, subscribe to MalaMala. Thank you, Streets of Los Angeles. We appreciate that. Enjoy the support.
Asking about vultures.
Yeah, they come. There's a few on the horizon there.
Alright folks, so we're not going to tilt up the phone. Well, we're operating on a cell phone, so for something like a speck of a vulture in the distance, it'll just be a couple of pixels, but if any do come closer, we'll tilt the phone up so you can have a look. So Ree's asking, how do we distinguish each lion? So we're looking at things like their territories, maybe prominent scars on their faces, normally what the sort of makeup of that group of lions is. So like pride, there's lionesses and these 9 relatively cubs as well as male. So they're around at the moment, or they're actually the largest with 8 lionesses, adult in terms of adults. So it's kind of a variety of factors, and also their behavior. So these lions don't care that we're here, they're not reacting at all. But if, say, we had stranger lions coming in from the Kruger Park, often they're very nervous of the vehicles. We're a new entity for them, they don't know what we are, and it takes them a while to get used to us. And we normally, with those animals, we give them a lot of space. If they don't like us there, then we just leave, and over time they'll get more and more used to us. Lions aren't used to being scared of things, so once they know that we're not a threat, then they just ignore us for the most part.
And then Chris Sonnepool asking a few times now, Chris, we will get around to these questions. What's the best place to study Wildbewaarder or game ranging? So there are a number of places, and I know a lot of the rangers here have studied at different places, and I think it'd be very difficult to compare because you don't actually go to different schools. You'd go to the one and stick at the one. I think the best way would just to go into Google and to research and look up reviews on all these different places. You have mentioned a few there. I'd recommend that's probably the best route to go.
And here at MalaMala, generally you need some sort of tertiary education, so you have to have gone to uni or college, or otherwise have a few years experience perhaps at another reserve. So there's an academic route and a practical route. We try to have a mix of different skills here. So some of the guys have been doing this for 20-25 years, where other guys have got perhaps, we have 2 of the rangers here that have had 3 different degrees, all zoology and biology related. So it's there's many avenues that you could use. So no, Heidi, a few people ask that. So the animals here, I know in a lot of the more urban built up areas, animals are making appearances. I think a lot of that is also to do with people actually just paying attention to what's going outside, instead of just rushing around their rat races. Where here the animals don't care about us, whether we're here or not here. In the grand scheme of things, MalaMala is the oldest private game reserve, so we've been watching these animals since 1964. But they, as a species, have been here for at least 10,000 years, and they didn't care about us then, they don't care about us now. So their behavior hasn't changed, they still go about their normal business. You can see they're not really reacting to us being here right now, and this is what would potentially be the most dangerous situation, lions defending a kill and cubs. So yeah, if they don't mind us now, then they're not going to mind us ever.
Then just hi to Maggie and Gordon from the UK.
Has there been any lions attack and kill crocs at all? So I believe it does happen. If you go into Kruger Sightings YouTube page, I don't know if Nadav, he can maybe put up the link, but he put on quite a cool video the other day. I think it was Vernon Creswell, if I remember correctly, of lions surrounding a crocodile. I think their concern was more curiosity than trying to eat it, but the crocodile certainly lets him know that he is not something to be investigated. Do lions and hyenas, other carnivores, consume each other's meat or just eliminate competition? So normally it is just to kill one another. They don't really eat one another. It does happen sometimes, but I've seen the lions killing hyena a couple of times, and it's an incredibly violent, brutal thing. They grab that hyena and they shake it and rag it around and rip their claws through it and so on. Where when they kill an impala or something, like normally they grab it by the throat, throttle it, and kill it to eat it. They don't kill it because they, like with hyenas, they certainly hate hyenas. So it is very violent. But I'd be very surprised if hyenas were able to come here and steal this kill from these lions.
And then TD Kid 1 asking, are all 9 cubs present? We're not sure. They come and go, and they have been lying in the shade elsewhere, so we haven't been able to count all of them, but I would assume that if all 9 cubs are still alive, they probably would be present.
And a good morning to Robin Sewell there, giving another suggestion for ranging or guiding courses. Pam Hudson, it was pretty funny, I must say, watching that. I think there Nadav has just posted that link. Russia is with us. Oh my goodness. Welcome from Russia. Is this buffalo a dagger boy? Asks Arjuna. So yes. So dagger is actually, if you are building the traditional mud huts that people think of when they think of people in Africa, how we don't live anymore. But yeah, what you do is make your sort of thatched hut, and then on the outside put a mixture of cow dung and mud on the outside to seal it and kind of weatherproof it, and that mixture is called dagger. But these buffalo, when they're rolling around in the mud, and very often their own dung too, that dagger, that mud gets plastered on them, and so they're often referred to as dagger boys, meaning the mud that's covering them. Petra asking, do you have a school for the MalaMala kids? So MalaMala, well, arguably there's only one kid here. The rangers do frequently get referred to as kids, but we have been through the schooling process.
And you're listening to the voice of the biggest one of them all.
The most mature kid, Pete.
Yeah.
The greyest one, perhaps. But yeah, no, we only have one kid here, and he is 1 year and 1 month old, belonging to Peter, the guy in the funny hat. Pink Ellie asking, how about the small youngest cub?
Yeah, I saw him earlier.
I can't see him now, but he was here earlier. But he seems fine and healthy. Aisha, I'm actually not sure how many male and females with these cubs. Normally with the young lion cubs, we don't really check their undercarriage too carefully. It's hard, especially now when they're all milling about and that. But also, as cubs, it doesn't matter so much, perhaps until they're about 18 months old. Sadly, a lot of these cubs probably won't survive, though the lions have been very successful the last few years. But yeah, if you go onto MalaMala's webpage, you'll see our game reports. We often have a breakdown of the sexes there, but I can't tell you offhand in the Unkuhuma pride. Certainly we don't see this pride all that often. King Snow, do we know why the male has a short mane compared to the other male? So that's a good question. He might just be a little bit younger. Also, there is a genetic component to it. So, like with humans, you get blondes and brunettes and that. And some guys are able to grow a beard at 14 and others have to wait until they're 32. So it might just be that he's just not as hairy, if you will, as his brothers. But also these Avoca males are not that old. Pete, do you know how old they are? I think they're 6 or 7 only.
Around 6.
Yeah, so they're about 6 years old. So they're still growing into their manes. So
then DLIX2DCLI. Can people adopt baby lions and other wildlife baby animals at home as pets? We do not recommend that whatsoever. All of these wild animals tend to have that wildness in them throughout their lives, and certainly with lions and some of the larger cats, they can get very dangerous when they are adults, so we don't recommend it.
To quote Chris Rock, when that tiger attacked Siegfried and Roy and everyone said the tiger went crazy, he said, that tiger didn't go crazy, that tiger went tiger. Yeah. And made me laugh for about a week. But yeah, these are wild animals. They are not domesticated at all. You can't expect a tiger to be anything other than a tiger. Carl Griffin, yeah, there are quite a few videos of crocodiles, especially if the lions have made a kill close to a river. The crocodiles often come out and see what's dead and if they can steal anything. We had it not so long ago with one of the leopard kills. A big crocodile came and tried to get a look in there. But crocodiles are not a normal part of their sort of menu. They don't really hunt things in the water. Jaguars in the Pantanal catching the caimans is probably like you see it now quite a lot on BBC Earth or Planet Earth and that.
So Pete, there's a few congratulations coming through here on the birth of your child.
Thank you.
So the time is 25 to 10 in the morning. It is warming up quite considerably now, so it does feel like it's the afternoon.
Giraffe girl coming in there with thank you for that. The sexes of the cubs, there's 5 male, 3 females. And the youngest cub we do not know yet.
It's a male.
Pete thinks it's a male. Henry Dube asking, how does a young male start its own pride besides taking over another male lion's? So Henry, that is the only way that they can start their own prides. They don't really start a pride. As far as the lion's social life goes, the pride of lions is really females. The males have got nothing to do with the prides. Daughters generally stay in the pride that they were born into, and the males are the ones that leave and disperse, and that stops things like inbreeding from happening. But those brothers, as soon as they leave their dad's territory, they're in someone else's territory, chases them, and so on and so on. So they wind up potentially hundreds of kilometers from where they were born, where the lionesses are staying in the same area, and that pride territory is more or less handed down from mother to daughter over the generations, where the males, we get new male lions taking over the pride, say every 5 or 6 years-ish, sometimes shorter than that, sometimes much longer. But our male lions don't start prides, really. They have to take over an existing pride. What does happen, some of the prides though, those groups of females get so big, like this pride, if all their daughters stay, it's going to be 11 lionesses, and plus cubs, so it'll be just too many mouths to feed. So then the pride might fracture and break apart into 2 different groups, which is how the Kambula pride was formed. So 6 lionesses left their natal pride, the Martley pride, set up their own territory by moving another pride out of the way, and then they were taken over by first the southern Avoca males, the older brothers of these 2 males, then the Machaperi males, and now they are dominated by the Gari males.
And I see there's still quite a lot of chat about the crocodiles and the lions. If you head over to our YouTube channel, there is a video that Mike put together. A lion crosses a river the hard way, and it's a very cool video. There's a number of different animals crossing the rivers, and you can see how nervous a lot of those animals are when they cross the river because of the crocodiles within the river.
And then, one of the reasons that the jaguars can and do attack crocodiles is jaguars have actually got the most powerful bite force of any of the big cats. So it takes a lot of crunching to get through a crocodile or caiman's skull. Not to say that the lions couldn't do it, but they're just not going to be as good at it. And also, like those jaguars living in the Pantanal, that's a massive swampy area, so they just have more opportunity to hunt something like that, where these lions, this is a relatively dry part of the world. Crocodiles are not something they frequently come across. Also, the lions in Botswana that catch hippos, they come across hippos a lot more than our lions do. So hippos aren't really on the menu for our lions. They're just not practiced or even kind of aware that that's an option. Where in Botswana and Okavango, where they come across hundreds of hippos and probably also lots of injured, weakened hippos, they learn that that's a menu item for them.
And cheers, Grant. It was nice having you. Thanks for all the questions.
Hector, if we encounter a situation where a baby cub is stuck in the mud or anything, can you guys assist? So like it would really have to depend on the situation. If there was a little cub stuck in the mud or something, like that would probably mean the rest of the pride is right there, so we just couldn't safely get at that little guy to help him out. Without the adults, they don't know that you're trying to help. We had a situation quite a few years ago now. It was very sad, but an elephant calf had got stuck in the mud. We did want to go and help it out, but the rest of the herd wouldn't let us anywhere near. And then on top of that, a pride of lions surrounded that little calf as well, so we just couldn't safely get to the calf through the 20 odd lions, as well as an extremely angry herd of elephants. And what eventually happened is the lions jumped in and killed the calf. So there was no way we could have intervened there, but it was also kind of a natural thing with the lions killing that elephant calf opportunistically. So again, it comes back to, if we had helped that little elephant calf, we would have taken a meal away from the lions. Sadly, people, we really do want to help, but it's just not always an option. And like I say, the animals don't know that you are trying to help them either.
And then a few people just saying that they've gone online and researched bite forces and saying that tiger, or asking the question, doesn't a tiger have the strongest bite? Well, it's something we can look up afterwards. And then also just, there's one of the Arjuna saying again, Gareth, Pieter and Mike, let me repeat myself. I love your sense of humor. Feel free to dispense liberally. It's very easy when Pete's wearing a cap like that.
Yeah.
So thanks, Arjuna.
What now?
Pete's attention is elsewhere. He's not really concentrating on what's going on here. It's an easy target.
The more we zoom, the more pixelated it gets. So we'll see if that helps a little bit there. Unfortunately, the shade is getting a bit darker now, so the phone's struggling to adjust to the bright background or surrounds with the dark shade the lions are in.
So DLIX2 DCLI, maybe you want to change your name, it'll be easier.
I'm going to go with Glix.
Glix2 Dlik, whatever. Just asking, have you guys ever filmed a documentary movie similar to Eternal Enemies, Lions and Hyena, or do you guys just drive around to film for live stream?
Yes, I would love to film something as good as Eternal Enemies.
Yeah. So there have been a few documentaries that have made their way onto National Geographic and elsewhere that have been filmed on MalaMala. Currently we are just filming as a team of rangers. We are filming what we come across. But some of those documentaries that you can go and look up are, I believe, is it Blood Brothers? A lot of that was filmed here.
Yeah. So I think it's Brothers in Blood.
Oh, Brothers in Blood. Sorry, don't get the two confused. They're very different. Brothers in Blood. A lot of that was filmed here with the Mapojos you might be familiar with. It's a coalition of 5, or initially 6 male lions, but 5 brothers that were born into the Ifield Pride, the Mlawati males. And then there was Beauty and the Beasts. I think that was to do with leopards. What was Chololo? Was it called Chololo?
Stalking leopards.
Stalking leopards.
Living with leopards.
Living with leopards.
Hyena Queen.
Hyena Queen, yeah.
So did you say Beauty and the Beasts?
Yeah.
There's this series, African Rivers, I believe it's called, with the Sand River. That was all filmed here at MalaMala. I know National Geographic, they were filming here last year, and they are busy working on that project at the editing it at the moment. When it comes out, we're not too sure. But they got amazing footage of the lions, not this pride, and the Kambula pride, killing a buffalo in this perfect golden sunlight on the riverbank. So
Pam Hudson going back to bed at 4 a.m. Thank you for watching, Pam. Sleep tight.
And then, just I know there's a couple of people. This is the Nkuhuma pride with the northern Avoca males. The Nkuhuma pride, there's 8 lionesses and there are 9 cubs.
I think how's our duties back at camp looking?
So just a couple of questions. They caught this buffalo sometime last night. What we are going to try to do, folks, is come back here for a live stream this afternoon. Luckily the signal is pretty good. So hopefully, and we'll have to just see what else is going on, but or maybe the lions aren't even here when we come back. But at 4 o'clock this afternoon, South African time, you'll have to work that out for yourselves wherever you might be watching from. But yeah, we'll try to do, say, from 4 to 6 South African time, or 4 till it gets too dark, which is normally around 6 anyway.
Perfect. So we've got a few duties that we need to attend to back at camp. Thank you for joining us this morning. And yeah, we look forward to chatting with you again later this afternoon.
Alright, but yeah, for now I think we're gonna call it a day. I think they're more or less settling down. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And we will hopefully see you this afternoon at 4.
Okay. And then just for those of you that joined late, this is Pieter.
I'm
in his funny hat.
It looks, for Brendan Cole making fun of my hat earlier, Brendan, I'd rather be on this end of the live stream and look like a nerd than on your end.
And you can see Pieter hasn't managed to fix his glasses yet because he's still under lockdown here.
Too harsh, Pete.
And then Mike, who's been on the comments.
With the cool hat.
With the cool hat, he says. And then myself. Folks, it's been awesome. We'll see you later.